Hello and welcome to our family Sunday here at Sainsbury Centre Sculpture Park. I'm Rach and later on you'll meet Caitlin and see some animation by Anna. I've got a question for you. Have you ever used a map? I've got a map to show you here of the sculpture park. It tells you where to go to find the Sainsbury Centre, the lake and all the artwork that is out here. I've also got another map to show you because today we'd like to tell you about a piece of work by an artist called Grayson-Perry. It's called Map of Essex. Can you see the drawings that are painted on the plate? What are they? I can see electricity pylons. I've never seen them decorating a plate before. There are some other shapes on the plate. Do you see a bicycle? Do you have one of those? Grayson says that this map is a map of significant places in his life. Maybe he visited them on a bike. The word significant means important. The sculpture park is significant to me because I'm lucky enough to work here. And Caitlin and Anna have asked me to collect some things from the sculpture park so that I can use them to make something later. I wonder what there is around here. This spot where I was sitting is very significant because there is this old tree standing here. It's known as the Mayor Oak. Last time I was here, in summer, I got stung by some stinging nettles. Ouch. I don't see any round here at the moment though. I wonder what there is. I found 2 acorn cups. One with an acorn in. It looks like it's sort of split apart a little bit. I wonder if a squirrel's been eating that. I also found this lovely squishy bit of green moss. And look at this twig. It's got that beautiful green lichen all over it. I'm going to take these with me. I think these will help me to remember this significant place, won't they? I collected some soil too from the ground. It's very dark and wet and peaty. I'm going to take some of that home with me too. Wonder what I can do with that. I'm going to see if I can find anything else significant in the sculpture park. Look at these buildings. They're a very interesting shape. You don't see buildings shaped like that very often. And here is a sculpture by Ian Tyson. It's called Proximity. Have a look at its shape. Can you think why it might have been put here, next to these buildings? The soil is much lighter and sandier than the soil down by the Mayor Oak. We're a bit further away from the river here, maybe that's why. See what else I found to remind me of this place. A square stone that reminds me of the shape of the sculpture and of the buildings. Rather large and impressive pine cone. And this twig as well. I think those things must have come from those trees over there. Also this feather. It's a bit sandy. Might have to clean that off when I get home if gets a bit drier. Have you ever been to a beach and come back with pebbles in your pockets and sand between your toes? I'm going to end up with some objects like these and the soil that I collected to help me remember the places that I visited today. Significant places can be interesting. They can be exciting, or just ordinary places that you visit or walk past every day. They don't have to be beautiful, they just have to mean something to you. I wonder what significant places Caitlin will find. Let's join her and find out. Hello Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm an artist and today I'm going on an adventure around my neighbourhood to visit some places that are really special to me. And I'm going to take with me a bag and a pot to put things in. Let's go! I really love this old rotten tree stump. It's been burrowed by animals and insects and its wood has turned into powdery compost. I'm going to take a pinch of this compost to put in my pot, and I'm going to take something from underneath it to take home. Aha! An empty snail shell. This is a magical place that I always see when I'm on my walks. It reminds me of a fairy bridge, and I don't know how these two trees have managed to join together. I love it. So I'm going to take a pinch of soil to put in my pot from underneath the fairy bridge, and I'm going to choose something to take home, something special. I'm going to choose a twig that's fallen from the tree. Now I'm going to carry on my adventure. This is my favourite tree in the whole neighbourhood. It's a huge ancient oak tree and it's got hazel and holly growing out from its base, and I always see squirrels scrambling in its branches. So I'm going to take a pinch of soil to put in my pot. Aha! There's a molehill, there's a mole living under here. I'm going to take a pinch of soil from the molehill and I'm going to choose something to put in my bag. Ah, perfect. A tiny little acorn cup that's fallen from the tree. I put that in my bag, and now it's time to go home and start making.
Hello, my name is Anna and I'm an artist. When you go home, put the things you've collected somewhere safe. We'll be using them later. Okay, so now we're going to make a salt dough plate. To do this, we will need a mixing bowl and a spoon, plain flour and salt, a cup, a rolling pin and a plate. We will also need a flat surface to work on. You might want to pause the video here whilst you gather those things together. Okay, if you've got all of those things, let's make a start. First we need the cup, the flour and the mixing bowl. Fill the cup with flour and tip it into the bowl. Next we need to add half a cup of salt. Mix them together with the spoon and then add half a cup of water. If you collected some soil, then you can add that to the mixture too. So to recap, that's 1 full cup of plain flour, half a cup of salt, half a cup of water, and some soil. Mix them all together with the spoon and your hands. The mixture should turn into a smooth ball of dough. If it's too sticky, add some more flour. If it's too dry, add some more water. Next, sprinkle a handful of flour onto your work surface. This will stop the salt dough sticking. Once you've done that, you can take the smooth ball of dough out of the bowl and put it on the floured work surface. Now we're ready to start making our plate.
Now that I'm back home, it's time to make a map plate using the items from our special journey and our special places. Here are some of the things you'll need. A small plate, a blunt knife, your dough, your special items from your journey, a rolling pin if you have one, otherwise you could use a tin or something else similar, and some spare flour for rolling. So the first thing I'm going to do is put some flour on my work area so that I can roll out my dough. And stop it from sticking. Now I'm going to roll it out. I don't want to roll it too thin because it will be very fragile, so I'm going to make a nice thick chunky plate. When I think that my dough looks a bit bigger than my plate, I'm ready to cut out my plate shape. Let's have a look. Perfect. So now I'm going to use my blunt knife to cut around the plate shape, get a nice round shape. Take away the extra bits and carefully take my plate off the circle. I'm going to smooth the edges a little bit, and now it's time to start having some fun. I'm going to decorate my plate by sprigging, making shapes and textures using the things that I found on my journey. My stick, my lovely empty snail shell, and my little acorn cup. I'm going to have a play around and see what shapes these can make. And, make some interesting textures. I really like the circles. I'm thinking about my journey and the special places I visited on it. I'm thinking the middle of my map, my plate, I might paint it like a map when I've finished. But first of all, I'm going to use my special items to create some decorations. I love the shapes that these make. Now I'm going to try the stick. I'm going to see, maybe I can press the stick right down in the middle. Oop. Now that almost looks like a path or a road, so maybe this is going to be part of my map showing the place I walked. And I'm going to press some of the items that I found along the way. It's really nice just playing around with your dough and trying different things. And the great thing is, you can't go wrong. You can always start again if you don't like what you've made, and you can roll it all up again and make another one. Or you can just use your dough to play with and experiment with and see what happens. Practice making different sorts of marks in it. When you think you've finished mark making on your plate, you can put it onto your tin foil, and then it will be ready to go into the oven. So lift it up carefully, put it on your tin foil, and ta-da! It's ready for cooking in the oven.
next step for our plates is to put them in the oven. We will need a baking tray and some tin foil or baking parchment. When Grayson-Perry makes his pots and plates, he puts them in a kiln. A kiln is a very, very hot oven. The heat transforms them. Soft and squishy clay becomes a hard and durable plate. We're not going to use a kiln today because salt dough doesn't like getting very hot. It much prefers to dry out slowly in a warm oven. We are going to cook our plates at a very low temperature for a very long time. Turn the oven on to its lowest setting, then place your salt dough plate on a baking tray lined with baking parchment or tin foil. The plate goes in the oven for 3 hours. Once it comes out, leave it to cool. Then, if you like, you can decorate it. You can use paint or felt tips, or to make it shiny, you can mix paint with PVA glue.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, Caitlin. I'm back at home now, as you can see, another significant place in my life, and I've made my salt dough with the soil in it. Can you see the little speckles that are still in there? It's made it smell quite interesting, and I'm really looking forward to using it to make a plate or something like that. And I've got my objects that I found from the sculpture park ready to make some patterns and some designs on my piece of work. So yes, really looking forward to seeing how that goes. Anna, Caitlin and I would love to see any pictures that you take and hear about your adventures. We'd love to find out where your significant places are and see photographs of the objects that you've made. So you can send them to me at the Sainsbury's Centre and you'll hear back from us. We'll send you something through the post and you'll be able to see what we thought and see what everybody else did too. Good luck on your travels, and we'll see you soon. Bye.